Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Get ready to, kind of get swept away by this story. It's really about how love and loss and all the echoes of the past can shape our destinies. Today we're diving deep into the House of Echoes.
By Alexandra Walsh.
That's right, by Alexandra Walsh.
Hmm.
It's a captivating blend of historical fiction and romance. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to keep going with us on these journeys into the world of storytelling. You can find a link to the book, by the way, in the description. So this book introduces us to Caroline Harvey, and she's dealing with the loss of her grandfather, Dexter Blake.
Who was the author of the wildly popular Ether Heracles science fiction series?
Yes, exactly, which we'll get into a little bit later.
A lot later.
Yeah, a lot later, actually. But so she's dealing with this loss, and what's so fascinating is that she inherits this property.
In Pembrokeshire.
Right.
The ruins of Hanworth House.
And she kind of gets drawn into this mystery that connects her to the past. Like she never could imagine it.
It's like she's stepping into a time capsule.
It is. And within the walls of this old house, she discovers the story of Anne Brandon.
Who lived in 16th century Tudor England.
Talk about a blast from the past.
Yeah.
And Anne's life is like intertwined with some major historical figures like her father, Charles Brandon.
Oh, yeah, Charles Brandon, he was the Duke of Suffolk. And get this, he was married to Mary Tudor, King Henry VIII's sister.
Oh, wow.
Imagine all that drama and intrigue of court life.
I know, it's crazy. So to be connected to such a pivotal period in history, right?
Right.
So we've got these two timelines unfolding, Anne's story in the 16th century and Caroline's in the present day. So what's the connection? What draws them together across all these centuries?
Well, Caroline discovers an old copy of Tristan and Isolde, but here's the twist. Hidden within its pages are Anne Brandon's diary entries and secret messages.
Oh.
Yeah. So it turns out Anne was living this, double life, trapped in this challenging marriage to a guy named Edward Grey,
No.
while secretly yearning for another man, Randall Hanworth.
Okay, so there's forbidden love and secret messages and this whole historical mystery. Sounds like Caroline's uncovering a story straight out of a classic novel.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about Anne and Randall's relationship? Was this sort of hidden romance common in Tudor England?
Well, remember, this was a time of really strict social hierarchies, arranged marriages, often for political gain. Women like Anne really had limited choices when it came to love and marriage.
So she's basically trapped in this marriage with Edward, but then she finds solace and true connection with Randall.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about their pressures and expectations on women during that era.
Absolutely. And the book does a great job of kind of highlighting those limitations.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the diary entries, they kind of reveal that Anne's husband, Edward, wasn't exactly a Prince Charming. He actually sounds pretty villainous.
Oh, no, really? What makes you say that? Give us the juicy details.
Well, he's portrayed as possessive and jealous and even prone to, fits of rage. There's a scene where he actually discovers that Anne has been forging documents. And let's just say his reaction is less than understanding.
Wait, forging documents? That sounds risky. What was she forging? And why?
So remember how we talked about Anne's father, Charles Brandon? Well, he was a bit of a power player in Tudor England, especially during the dissolution of the monasteries. He was able to acquire a lot of land, wealth.
Dissolution of the monasteries, for those of us who need a quick history refresher.
Right.
What exactly was that?
Essentially, King Henry VIII decided to break from the Catholic Church, and he seized all the lands and wealth of the monasteries to kind of solidify his power and fill his coffers. And ambitious men like Charles Brandon, they saw this as an opportunity to increase their own holdings.
So are you saying that Anne's father basically swindled her out of her inheritance?
That's what it looks like.
That's outrageous.
It certainly adds another layer to their relationship, and it seems was determined to kind of reclaim what was rightfully hers and was willing to take risks to do so.
Wow.
This act of forgery, it really shows her strength, especially in a society that often sought to silence women.
So Anne sounds like a real trailblazer. Forging documents in Tudor England. She must have been incredibly brave, or maybe a little bit reckless. But wait, you said Edward discovers her secret, so what happens next?
Well, the novel builds suspense beautifully here. Edward becomes increasingly suspicious, not just of the forgery, but of her relationship with Randall. And the tension escalates, culminating in a scene where Edward, fueled by jealousy and rage, almost attacks Anne.
Oh my goodness, that's terrifying. So it really highlights the danger women faced. It wasn't just about societal expectations. Their lives could be at stake.
You're absolutely right. Anne's story is a powerful reminder of the challenges that women faced in a patriarchal society.
So we have Anne, she's fighting for her inheritance and her autonomy and her love for Randall, all while navigating, the treacherous waters of Tudor court life. Sounds intense. Now let's shift back to Caroline in the present day. We know she's inherited this property with this fascinating past, and she's uncovering Anne's story. But what about her own life? Like, what's going on in her world?
Well, remember Caroline's grandfather, Dexter Blake, the famous science fiction author. There are there are hints throughout the book that their connection runs deeper than just, blood ties.
I remember you saying there were clues, so is there something more to their relationship?
Well, let's just say that Caroline has a secret. And it mirrors the themes of her grandfather's Ether Heracles series, a series that explores, the idea of human potential and pushing boundaries.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. What could this secret be, and how does it connect to the Ether Heracles series? This is getting good.
The Ether Heracles series is fascinating in itself. It's a space opera with a devoted fan base conventions, all the trappings of a major fandom, like what we see with Star Wars or Star Trek
Yeah,
in our world. But Dexter Blake, at least in the public eye, was reclusive, shunning the spotlight.
that's right. You mentioned he was similar to Caroline in that way,
Yeah.
both drawn to the quiet life, away from the hustle and bustle. It makes you wonder if that's a coincidence or if it's somehow woven into the fabric of this story.
Yeah, and that's where the real brilliance of this novel comes in, the way it weaves together these seemingly disparate threads. For example, the book that Anne is reading and annotating Tristan and Isolde, it's not just a random prop. It acts as a parallel to Anne and Randall's forbidden romance.
That's such a clever detail. It's
Right.
like their own love story is mirroring this classic tale of forbidden love.
Mm-hmm.
It adds another layer of depth and meaning. It makes you think about how stories resonate across time. How certain themes like love-defying societal norms continue to capture our imaginations.
Exactly. And remember, Anne is poring over this story while she's grappling with her feelings for Randall and her dangerous situation with Edward. It's as if she's seeking guidance, solace, or maybe even validation for her own desires in this ancient tale of love and loss.
It speaks to the power of literature, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How we find ourselves reflected in the pages of a book, or seeking answers, or maybe just a sense of connection to something larger than ourselves.
You're absolutely right. And speaking of connections, let's go back to Edward. We were talking about his volatile nature and how he discovered Anne's forgery.
Yes, that scene was so intense. It really painted a picture of Edward as a man clinging to power and control. It makes you wonder, what was their marriage really like? I
Yeah.
mean, beyond the forgery and the hidden romance, what was the dynamic between them?
Well, Edward embodies the contradictions of masculinity in Tudor England. He's a man of status and privilege, but he's also deeply insecure. He sees Anne's intelligence and strength as a threat, which fuels his jealousy and rage. This makes him a dangerous character, but also, in a way, a tragic one. He's trapped in a system that dictates how men should behave, how they should exert their power.
It's interesting how the novel explores the complexities of these characters. They're not simply good or bad hero or villain. They're products of their time grappling with societal expectations and their own internal struggles.
Precisely. And that's what makes them feel so real, so human. They make mistakes, they act impulsively, they yearn for things that are seemingly out of reach. Just like Anne Edward is trapped in a system that dictates how he should behave, how he should exert his power.
That brings us back to the question of Anne's forgery. What were the risks involved in such a daring act? What were the potential consequences if she had been caught?
Forgery was a serious crime in Tudor England. Punishments ranged from fines and imprisonment to, in some cases, even death. This underscores just how desperate Anne was to reclaim what was stolen from her. It was a gamble, a dangerous one, but she was willing to risk everything for justice.
It's almost like a Tudor-era heist,
Yeah.
right? But instead of jewels or gold, she's after something far more valuable, her rightful place in the world. And she has Randall by her side, helping her navigate this risky scheme. What was his role in all of this?
Randall is more than just a love interest. He's Anne's confidant, her advisor, and her partner in crime. Literally, he's actually the one who devises the plan to forge the documents. He's trained as a lawyer and understands the intricacies of the legal system, which makes him instrumental in their plan.
Wow, so their relationship goes beyond just romance. They're united by a common goal, a shared sense of justice, and a desire to fight back against the system that has wronged them.
Exactly. It's a partnership built on trust, respect, and a shared passion for righting the wrongs of the past.
This is fascinating. We have these parallel storylines, each with its own set of stakes and challenges. On one hand, we have Anne and Randall risking everything to reclaim her inheritance and escape the clutches of Edward. And then we have Caroline in the present day grappling with the secrets of the past and her own connection to this incredible story.
And that's where the novel takes an unexpected turn. Remember we were discussing Caroline's Secret and its connection to Dexter Blake's Ether Heracles series?
Yes, you had me on the edge of my seat with that one. I'm dying to know what this big reveal is.
Well, here it is, Caroline, I.S. Dexter Blake. She's been writing the Ether Heracles books all along.
What? No way. That's a bombshell. But how is that even possible? And why would she keep her identity a secret for so long?
Those are precisely the questions that the novel explores in the next chapter. We delve into Caroline's motivations, her fears, and the personal sacrifices she's made to protect her identity and her son.
This changes everything. It makes you reevaluate everything we've learned about Caroline and Dexter. And it adds a whole new dimension to the Ether Heracles series. Knowing that Caroline, a woman living a quiet life in the present day, is the mind behind these epic space adventures is mind-blowing.
It really is. And it makes you think about the nature of authorship, the idea of a public persona versus a private self.
No.
Why do we create these separate identities? What are we trying to protect? What are we trying to express?
It also makes you wonder about the pressure authors face, especially in today's world of social media and instant connectivity.
Yeah.
The idea of creating a fictional persona to shield yourself from scrutiny must be tempting for a lot of writers.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Caroline's story so relatable, so human. She's not just a writer. She's a mother, a daughter, a woman trying to navigate her own path while grappling with the weight of a secret that could change everything.
And speaking of paths, wasn't there a character in Caroline's life, Gideon, who suspected there was more to her than met the eye?
Yes, Gideon. He plays a crucial role in uncovering Caroline's secret. He notices these subtle clues, connections between events in the Ether Heracles series and things he knows about Caroline's life. And remember, their relationship was interrupted by a misunderstanding, a series of unfortunate events that led Gideon to believe Caroline had moved on.
Right. Their story was so heartbreaking, he thought she had ended things, and he ended up marrying Margot, who, let's be honest, was all wrong for him. It was painful to witness their relationship fall apart.
And now, knowing that Caroline is Dexter Blake, it adds another layer of complexity to their dynamic. How will Gideon react to this revelation? Will he be angry, hurt? Or will he understand the reasons behind her choices?
So we get this incredible reveal. Caroline is Dexter Blake. We've got Gideon, who was essentially the inspiration for one of the main characters in the Ether Heracles series, trying to piece together this mystery. And they both have unfinished business from their past. This is getting intense. What happens next? It feels like we're at this point where, like, both stories, the 16th century and the present day, are about to reach this, like, major turning point. Anne and Randall, they're going for it. You know, they're trying to get back what's rightfully hers. And Caroline's facing the fallout of her secret identity being revealed.
And in both cases, the setting plays a crucial role. The ruins of Hanworth House and the surrounding oak grove in Pembrokeshire, they become more than just a backdrop. They're almost like a character in themselves, a place where the echoes of the past resonate with the present.
It really is like the house is holding the secrets of both timelines, you know, whispering these stories to anyone who's willing to listen. And it's the place where Anne and Randall sought refuge, right? A hidden world where their love could flourish. And now, centuries later, it's where Caroline finds herself drawn, almost like she's being guided by this unseen force.
It's a testament to the author's skill in kind of weaving together these elements, the historical and the contemporary, the tangible and the intangible. It creates a tapestry that is both rich in detail and emotionally resonant.
Okay, so back to Caroline. She's been living this double life, writing under the guise of Dexter Blake. So what happens when the truth comes out? How do people react?
Well, the novel doesn't shy away from the fallout. There's shock, disbelief, and even anger from those who feel betrayed by Caroline's deception. The media frenzy is overwhelming, and she's suddenly thrust into the spotlight she's been avoiding for years.
That must be terrifying, to have this carefully constructed wall come crashing down. And what about Jonah, her son? How does he handle this sudden revelation?
Jonah's reaction is perhaps the most heartbreaking. He feels like his whole life has been a lie. He struggles to kind of reconcile the image of his reclusive mother with the persona of this, larger-than-life science fiction author.
It makes you think about the impact our choices have on those we love, even when we think we're protecting them. Sometimes the truth, however difficult it might be, is the better path.
And that's where Gideon comes in. Despite the initial shock and confusion, he becomes Caroline's anchor. He sees beyond the facade, beyond the media frenzy, and recognizes the woman he fell in love with years ago.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Despite all those years of separation and misunderstanding, their connection remains strong. It's a testament to the enduring power of true love.
And through their conversations, through their shared vulnerability, they begin to heal the wounds of the past. They realized that their separation wasn't entirely their fault, that they were both victims of circumstance, of misconnections and misinterpretations.
That's such a good point. It's a powerful reminder that communication is key in any relationship. Assumptions and unspoken words, they can create this huge chasm between even the closest of hearts.
Exactly. And as they reconnect, they help each other to face their fears and to kind of embrace the complexities of their lives. Caroline finds the courage to step into her truth as Dexter Blake, to own her talent and her success. And Gideon, finally free from his unhappy marriage, rediscovers the man he was always meant to be.
Wow. So there's this beautiful parallel between Anne and Randall's story of the 16th century
Mm-hmm.
and Caroline and Gideon's story in the present day. Both couples are fighting for love, for authenticity, for the right to define their own destinies.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And just like Anne and Randall found solace and freedom in their hidden world within the oak grove, Caroline and Gideon, they create their own sanctuary, a space where they can just be themselves without judgment or pretense. It's really a testament to the human spirit's ability to find hope and healing, even in the most challenging of circumstances.
This book is truly a journey of self-discovery, of finding your voice and embracing your true identity. It's about facing your fears, owning your past, and ultimately choosing love.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it leaves us with this really powerful message that the echoes of the past might shape us, but they don't have to define us. We have the power to break free from old patterns, to rewrite our stories, and to create a future filled with love, authenticity, and the courage to just be ourselves.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
The House of Echoes invites us to reflect on our own lives. What secrets are we carrying? What stories are shaping our choices? And most importantly, are we living a life that is true to ourselves?
That's such a thought-provoking question. It makes you really want to go back and kind of delve into your own past, to uncover those hidden stories that might be influencing your present.
Exactly. And it encourages us to embrace vulnerability, to connect with others on a deeper level, and to find the courage to write our own stories filled with love, resilience, and the unwavering belief in our own potential.
That's all for today's deep dive into the House of Echoes. Thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey through time and love and self-discovery. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more literary adventures. Be sure to share your favorite moment from the book in the comments below. We love hearing your thoughts.